Good morning, Xplained Daily Family. Imagine this for a moment. You're sitting around the family table on a quiet prairie evening, sharing stories with your sister. The one who knows your past, your struggles, your joys. The one who grew up beside you through everything. For millions of us who came of age in the 1970s and 1980s, that sisterly bond lived on our television screens through Laura and Mary Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. They weren't just characters. They felt like family. But what if I told you that behind the scenes, the two actresses who brought those sisters to life, Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson, weren't nearly as close as we believed? In fact, there was a quiet rift that lasted more than 40 years. And now, just yesterday on December 27th, 2025, something remarkable happened. Melissa Gilbert shared a moment that instantly warmed hearts across the world. After decades of distance, the two Melissas reunited. Not for publicity, not for nostalgia tours, but for healing, laughter, tears, and honest conversation. This isn't just a celebrity update. It's a story about time, forgiveness, and the quiet power of reconnecting when you least expect it. Let's take a step back. Little House on the Prairie aired from 1974 to 1983 and became one of the most beloved family shows in television history. Melissa Gilbert was only 9 years old when she stepped into the role of Laura Ingalls, the spirited, determined half-pint who captured our hearts. Melissa Sue Anderson was just 11 when she began playing Mary Ingalls, the gentle, responsible older sister whose storyline later brought one of the show's most emotional arcs when Mary lost her sight. On screen, Laura and Mary shared an unbreakable bond. They comforted each other through illness, tragedy, blizzards, and heartbreak. With Michael Landon's warm presence as Pa Ingalls, the show taught us about family, resilience, faith, and love. For many of us over 45, those episodes weren't just television. They were part of our routine, our comfort, our childhood. But off-screen, things were more complicated. Both actresses have spoken honestly over the years about their relationship, and the truth is, they were very different people growing up under intense pressure. Melissa Gilbert was outgoing, playful, and deeply emotional. Melissa Sue Anderson was more reserved, serious, and professional. In her memoir Prairie Tale, Gilbert described a dynamic shaped by competition, stress, and growing up too fast. She admitted they were never truly close, even though audiences assumed they were inseparable. Anderson later echoed this sentiment in interviews, explaining that they simply didn't connect on a personal level. She described their relationship as distant, professional, and shaped by their very different personalities. Co-star Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie Olson, once noted that while she and Gilbert bonded easily, Anderson often seemed separate, more guarded. Not cruel, not hostile, just different. Over time, that distance solidified. There were moments of tension, stories of misunderstandings, occasional sharp words in interviews. Nothing explosive, but enough to confirm that the fairy tale sisterhood ended when the cameras stopped rolling. And then life moved on. Melissa Gilbert remained in the public eye, building a career, entering politics, raising a family, and later embracing a quieter life filled with reflection and gratitude. Melissa Sue Anderson chose a more private path, stepping away from Hollywood, moving to Canada, and focusing on raising her children away from the spotlight. For more than 4 decades, they rarely spoke. Fans often wondered if the Ingalls sisters would ever truly reconcile. And then, quietly and beautifully, it happened. This past week, Melissa Gilbert, now 61, has been performing off-Broadway in a play called Pen Pals. One evening after the show, she arranged a surprise. Without publicity or fanfare, she invited Melissa Sue Anderson, now 63, to attend. Backstage, the moment unfolded naturally. Gilbert later shared a group photo on Instagram, smiling alongside Anderson and other friends. Her caption said it all. She spoke of hearts healing, worlds colliding, and magic happening. But it was her longer message that truly touched fans. She revealed that the two had shared long, healing conversations. They reminisced. They laughed. They cried. They caught up on decades of life missed. Gilbert wrote that they share an important history no one else can fully understand. Just the two Ingalls girls. And then she said something that stopped people in their tracks. She explained that the past is now just that, the past, and that they can finally move forward as the sisters and friends they always wanted to be. The timing of this reunion makes it even more poignant. Earlier this year, Melissa Sue Anderson experienced profound loss when her husband of 35 years, television writer Michael Sloan, passed away at age 78. Grief has a way of clarifying what truly matters. Sometimes, it opens doors we didn't realize were still unlocked. Fans responded instantly. Thousands of comments poured in, filled with gratitude, tears, and shared memories. People wrote that this reunion healed something inside them too. Because this story isn't really about television. It's about growth. It's about childhood misunderstandings carried into adulthood and the courage it takes to finally let them go. It's about realizing that time doesn't erase the past, but it can soften it enough for healing. Today, Melissa Gilbert lives a peaceful life with her husband Timothy Busfield and embraces being a grandmother. Melissa Sue Anderson remains private but reflective, carrying her Little House years with quiet appreciation. Seeing them together again reminds us of something important. If two women shaped by fame, pressure, and decades of distance can find their way back to each other, maybe reconciliation is possible in our own lives too. Maybe there's a sibling, a friend, or someone from your past where a conversation could change everything. As Melissa Gilbert so beautifully said, hearts heal and reunite. And what a hopeful way to close out 2025. If this story touched you, I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite Little House on the Prairie memory? Did Laura and Mary remind you of someone in your own family? If Little House was part of your childhood, tap like so YouTube knows these stories still matter. Share this with someone who grew up on the Prairie days too. Thank you for watching Xplained Daily Family. Until next time, keep those family bonds strong on screen and off. God bless.